Okay, recording started. Hello, Aries girl. Your name is
Hi, Scott.
Allison.
This is Allison.
Allison. So, is this the first time you're putting your face to YouTube?
Yes, actually.
Interesting, cool. So, today we're going to try to do an Akashic reading for you. See where I sense you've been in the universe, how many lives, da 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 da. I've done two others for YouTube with Priscilla and Valerie. This will be the third. I hope it goes well. So, an interesting thing, um, preparing before this, I was telling you, about how we were texting and stuff. And I just text something to you, I'm like, do you like insects? And it was really strange, and you said yes. And because I was seeing this praying mantis being in a planet I'd never seen before. And what was that story about a praying mantis? Or your intuition of instinct or insects? Do you want to
I
explain?
I had a praying mantis that appeared in a plant that was on my front porch last year, and it wasn't doing well. It looked like it was molting, or that process that it goes through, but one of its wings, I could tell that it wasn't, or whatever that's called, that they shed, or that whole process
Uh-huh.
that happens, but it wasn't opening on one of the sides, like it was twisted is what it looked like, because you could see the one side progressing the way that it probably should. This is my first experience with this, and the other side it was just kind of like twisted and weird, and it didn't open. And I decided to not, you know, try to fix it or do anything. So I just kept it safe, and it was eating the plant that it was on, and and I would just kind of keep it safe and move it around if it was going to rain hard or if the sun was really going to be beating down on it. And I just kind of you know took care of it
Yeah,
till it died.
that's pretty cool. You
Yeah.
always have animals come around. You're like a
I
real animal person.
Yes, I've had several experiences throughout my life, like with you know, um, finding baby animals or an injured animal or, a dog, or I've done a couple dog rescues from abusive situations. I mean, yeah, I'm an animal person.
That's awesome.
And I like bugs. You asked about the bugs, and
Bugs, yeah, because
yes,
I
I like
mean that was
spiders
my
and
first.
beetles and
Yeah, that was my first instinct because I started seeing this, you know, mantis being, but I was drawn to text you out of the blue. Do you like insects? Because I was seeing like bugs and everything. So it's kind of interesting, when we agreed to do this, that I was kind of getting prepared again, possibly, and seeing other things, but it's pretty cool. All right, so let's do the connection and try to get into your guides and your Akashic. So it's basically, since you're outside on Earth, but think of a place where you have loved to been on Earth. Could be a beach, could be a park, whatever. So just imagine being a wonderful place on Earth and all the connected energy. Are you there?
yep.
Okay. So now I want you to connect your energy to the universe. Just look at the stars, imagine other planets, and feel like a connection or a rubber band connecting both together. All the connected energy of the earth and the stars. So once we have that together, we ask to open your Akashic records to hopefully find some information here about where you've been, what you've been, and see how this goes. Okay. First question I'm going to see: how old is your earth soul? Show me a number of your earth soul. Okay, they're showing me about 35,000 years ago. That would put you pretty old. in a Lemurian time, most likely. How many lives have you had? They showed me 280 lives. How many? How many were male and female? They show me about. Oh gosh, male dominant. They're actually showing me male dominant. About pretty close to 200 were male. You know, a lot of male energy. So male, it could be male, um, just sensing. It's like sometimes, like if you have an extraterrestrial life, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, but it's a male
Right.
dominant. Um, how many times have you been, let's say, a psychic or a seer? I'm showing 24. That's quite a few. It's actually quite a few. Um, how many times do you spiritually aware? So like 95 others. So you've been very, very spiritually aware and psychic throughout your whole lives. Not, in a sense, not a lot that were, earthbound that you were trying to figure out life without any inspiration. Okay, something I want to try too is I want to try to tap into who your spirit guides might be.
Okay.
So I always sense like there's two that have been with your soul, whatever. So who are your Akashic guides? They're showing me two males, so they may be part of the um, your your male dominance per se, maybe. So I'm showing two males, never been alive. So I don't know why, but one looks like a redhead and one looks like a blonde. So maybe it's something you're attracted to, or something in your own life that relates to you. So with a redheaded guy, not deep red, but more red, and then the other one looks more blondish. So it's something that relates to you most likely. So okay, male, and then who's how many other guys do you have? There's a female, never been alive. That's your current main guy you're connecting to. There's a female, more feminine energy, never been alive. Um, been around the block. Has guided many people from ancestral times. Um, she's the main one dominating with your intuition and your resonance. Currently, there is another energy that pops in here and there. Um, it may be a male ancestor. I'm getting a male, but not around all the time. But there's a male that pops in it once in a while, and it is. It feels like on mom's side. It's either grandpa or great grandpa, that kind of feeling. But there's a male that pops in once in a while, helps you out in different situations to increase your intuition. So it's a grandfather figure. I mean, it is part of your ancestry, but it doesn't seem to be around all the time. There are only times when you need them, but they're there. They're there for you. Okay, so let's see. There's anything else? Okay, let's just see where we need to go, where I need a sense, and where you've been, and where we need to go elsewhere. Okay, they're showing me Louisiana. You have a feels like the middle of Louisiana. You're a male. There's a small home, and it's not a business. A small home. Weird. I'm not sure if this is a caregiver. It might be a caregiver home because I don't sense it's like a plantation or anything like that. It feels like you're actually like a owner of a small caregiver home. It feels like it'd be part of your nature of caring for other people, other souls. Um, I'm not really sensing you were married though. I'm getting some kind of caregiver thing in Louisiana. Just something about serving other people, but you didn't want a family of your own. It was kind of weird. But that's all I'm getting right there for Louisiana. I don't know what that means really, but it just feels like more of your caring nature of what you're either going through or could have been. Okay, now I'm being drawn to Boston, and I'm hearing like the Boston Tea Party. So like this could be Revolutionary War kind of stuff
Right.
because I'm feeling like that 1776. This kind of so it feels like you were a female wrapped up in this whole Revolutionary War. There's battles going on, cannons, everything like that. But you were not in the war, I don't think. It feels like you may have been a wife to someone, but you're in the middle of it. Here I'm seeing children, probably four children, but your husband was involved in the war. You lost him in the battle, whatnot. But it feels like Boston area, the whole scenario of that Revolutionary War. Um, there's a feeling of deep pain here of loss from this, and feelings of that you don't really like conflict. You don't like seeing conflict. So there's a deep loss of pain of losing someone from conflict. Like if it kind of feels like the current times, like it would be really effective to see someone or see news about shootings going on, that kind of feeling, or battles and wars. So this is feeling like that kind of resonates with the fact of you don't like that kind of conflict. But they're showing me that um, they're They're telling me you lost a child, your youngest child, to illness. The other three made it to adulthood, but there's also pain there involved with losing a child um, that young that young life. Like 5, 6, whatever. There's some kind of illness that happened by that time. Um, what do they call that? It's some kind of blood disease or something that was going around that time. So yeah, you lived a long life, but it was kind of sad. But you took care of your kids, and that was the main aspect I was sensing there. Okay, now I want to go to that what I was sensing via text. They're showing me that the praying mantis kind of being. So you had this life on another planet. It's a planet I haven't seen before, and then so it's like northwest of Pluto area, back like two galaxies. So I'm seeing a planet that's kind of so if you look above, there's a lot of light green. There is plush um, grass and all that stuff, plenty of water. Um, it's generally there's like a lot of technology there. Um, like I was explaining in text, I feel like that you were involved in some kind of scientific or mathematical type development for the future of other planets.
Right.
So there's like, you weren't involved in like any, I'm sensing like doctoral or scientific type. It's more like technology. There's some kind of technology behind what you were doing there. It's scientific, but it's mathematical. It's something in that aspect. I have no clue about what would that be, but it's more like the algorithm into certain technologies. Like if you're trying to create how a cell phone would work, there's an algorithm into the chips or whatever, how to make it work. So it's something like that. I'm not saying like creating of DNA or anything like that. It's more in the technical aspect, what I was saying for you there. But this planet has a greenish hue. It's it's about the size of Earth. It feels like very heavily populated. It's more of a technical kind of planet of creation. Um, there's average life too, but it just feels like there's more centralized areas that were. I'm hearing like there was maybe 1 million people that lived there. Not a lot, but there's like centralized areas. Some places on the planet were like kind of uninhabitable. Just kind of like the tilt or whatever. It feels like there one part's desolate, but other part is like very habitable, lush. Um, there's something going on about the insects there too. It, there was some kind of testing about um, the insects, like creating different insects and bees and um,
I love bees.
yeah, doing birds and something like that. There's because I'm not seeing like big animals. It feels more like almost microscopic stuff, more so than like bison and elephants. It's concentrating on the little the little things like flies and everything like that that would help pollinate and digest. Those kind of things. Worms and bees and for pollen, all this kind of thing.
For the
So
plant life.
yeah, plant life, everything to deal with plant life. So that feel like that's what I was doing there. But I was sensing, but you were more on the technical side, but you've seen all these other things too. So that's what I was getting from that. Pretty cool. But yeah, it would probably, if you were traveling interdimensionally, I'm hearing it might take 6 hours to get there. So a little bit of time. So it's trillions of miles away. But I haven't seen that planet before. That's pretty cool. Okay. Do we have a time frame? When was this? They're telling me like 6,000 years ago. So like there's a creation of needed and different things on the planet possibly to plant here, maybe with honeybees or hummingbirds or whatever. So it feels like you were part of that, helping different things on the planet to evolve how they need to. So this is like, yeah, like 4,500 to 5,000 BC, something like that. Interesting. Okay. Where else do we need to go? Yeah, they're bringing me to Cairo, Egypt, with the pyramids. So you were part of this evolution with the pharaohs. You're a female. I am seeing you were a priestess. There was some kind of scribing going on. I'm not seeing like you were a pharaoh's wife or anything like that, but you were brought into the whole um, ceremonial type of people that passed on. So you were like an outsider, but like maybe a cousin of a pharaoh or something like that. It feels like you were sided, so you were like the wife of a pharaoh or that, but you were like a cousin of the a pharaoh's wife or something like that. Not a pharaoh, yeah. You were like a pharaoh's wife's cousin or something. So like you had a special talent and you were brought in to help out with all this. So yeah, you were connecting. This is one of your psychic lives, whatever, where you're connecting to spirit, connecting to different rituals. Um, you're reading from a book. I'm seeing you're reading from a book. There's some kind of crown, and there's a eye on the crown. So like the Horus eye or some kind of Egyptian eye. It's gold. There's a crown. Um, there might be feathers. There's some kind of other flowers, not feathers, flowers. And there's a eye crown. So yeah, you were very important. How long ago was that? Around 22 BC, 2200 BC, something around there. Yeah, you were centralized there. I think you were living. It feels northwest of Cairo, so you weren't like living right there. It feels a little bit up, maybe 75 miles from the pyramids. I think that's where you were found or living at the time before you became a priestess. So yeah, definitely you were there. Um, you seen you seen spaceships all the time. They were above the pyramids. You had seen these. Yeah. So yeah, you were connecting to the heavens. You were definitely involved there. I'm seeing that big time. Okay, where else are we going to go? To tell me England. So now we're going to England. Um, this is probably around 100 AD. Um, there's something I don't. There's a tie here to Jesus. So I don't. Not sure what this means, but you're in England area, but there's a tie to Jesus. I don't know if a relative or someone of Jesus met you, or after the whole event happened that there's movement there from something. I'm not really being shown what, but about the true history of Jesus' teachings and everything. So it might be someone that came from there after the big event that you moved there too. But you met them, you taught with them, you learned spirituality this way. You worked with part of the church back then. I mean, it wasn't like a priest or preach, but it's kind of like you were in the fellowship. You might have been part of the group, but you were female. Um, I think you believed in the teachings of what Jesus actually meant, and you understood what um, the whole evolvement of what people should believe. So I'm feeling like a church aspect, but like in a fellowship or a partnership with that. You were married. You had like two children, boy and a girl. You led a long life, but it just feels like that time was all about your spiritual and understanding of life, um, and what is true. Like not worshiping one God or one source, but there was a spiritual development there in the England area. It feels. I'm not knowing my geography, but it feels like near the capital, but it's south. I don't. Um, you know what the capital of Britain is? Great Britain, England. I can't even think right now. I'm just saying your energy, but it feels like what?
Is it London?
Oh yeah, London, yeah. But it feels like south of London. Wherever London is, it feels like south of London. So write that down or whatever. Maybe search churches or something in southern back in 100 or 200 BC or after AD, whatever.
Right, that's
But
right.
anyway, I'm gonna send you the link or whatever. But so these are all just little hints. Maybe you can search, to see if you can figure out what happened at those times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where else do we want to go? Where else do we want to go? Do you like Do you like the matadors, like with the bull things and the olay of the bull?
Do I like it?
Or have you ever been because I'm showing you a male in Spain and actually doing the matador thing. You
But
know,
the
like,
bull does not have spears in it, correct?
oh no, it has spears, it has
Oh,
horns.
right, but no spears in the bull's back, right?
This is why he was
Spear?
no.
Spear, you know, they put spears in the bull's back.
Oh no, they're just showing me you as a matador. You're a male, and all in the
I'm joking, but
stadium.
yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, but I'm seeing people. You were actually they're showing me you were a matador in Spain. I don't know what time frame, maybe 1800s or something. But
I understand that.
yeah, at some reason I'm showing you were like a matador. You know, but yeah, they're showing me that you were a matador in Spain.
Thank you.
Weird.
Yes, yes. No, it's, and we'll talk more later, but yes, that makes sense. Hmm.
Good.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just a relevant thing or whatever. But they're showing me
Hmm.
you're a matador.
I think I've always known that
Latino weirds.
Oh, weird. Okay,
on
let's
some
move
level.
on.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
all you. That's all you need to know there, I guess. But nothing else. Okay, so if you were approximately 35,000 years, that's definitely you were in Lemurian. I'm sensing that Lemurian energy. Um, you spent many lives there, and I'm telling what I'm getting here is that kind of built your soul. Um, it was a simple time, and it was a creation time. Um, I'm being shown a lot of animals there too. Um, the subsistence, how to grow crops, and it's just a simple time, right? I probably think you've had 20 or 30 year lives in Lemuria, going back that far and that many lives. So, and you didn't really like how it was in the end. Um, but it feels like you left that time frame. I mean, you were back and forth, male, female, had kids. I mean, there's nothing spectacular being shown there, but it just brings you to your core of a simpler time. You know, maybe you don't want fancy things, you don't really care about fancy things. Just like the simpler time of life. But that whole area, and then what I believe it was, what I see is that it was all like in the Indian Ocean, and um, it goes out to like all the islands, like over by Hawaii and Australia. That was all Lemuria, what I sense. Maybe others get something different, but that's what I sense. But so, and I always felt that like Atlantis was after that, but it coincided a little bit. So Atlantean. I don't know why, but I don't think you liked Atlantis because I'm only seeing like one life there. It kind of feels like you didn't like the way it's going with the greed, the power. What were you there? What were you there? Um, it feels like a jealousy of gods. Like you weren't one, so you didn't like it. You were kind of jealous of the power of other people. I mean, everyone at this time we were there is more evolved. They all felt like they were gods, kind of feeling, but you weren't. You weren't evolved enough at this point to sense that. You're just an average Joe, and it kind of you got pushed around. That kind of feeling. Like you got picked on. You weren't good enough. Had to do the dirty work, the grunt work. Dude is like, I want nothing to do with this after this life. Yeah, you had a family. Um, I think you were male there. I think it brought you down to your level though too, because I think the wife you married was a dominant figure. So
Mm.
it feels like you were just an average Joe, but your wife was someone important. You had children with them. You may have even took care of them more so, but you were felt to be less than human, though. You know what I mean? It's like you got
Mhm.
picked on, you got told what to do, so you didn't really like that kind of life, but you needed to experience that to be humbleized. I'm hearing. So like, I'm only seeing like one life there. It was rewarding, but painful. That kind of feeling. See, it's kind of like your soul was like, I don't like where this is going, and you didn't want to go back. Kind of like with your agreement. So you're like, I'm going to go elsewhere. So then I'm going um, to the Pakistan area where that Mesopotamia is. So this is a different area. This is when what I sense like the angels or the ETs, the extraterrestrials, the Anunnaki types came down and started all these civilizations after the fact. So your soul moved on. So we're getting that whole area there. And what were you there? Okay, you took a step up. You didn't like it Atlantean time, but there was a break there. I think you may have been in another life, not on Earth, but over in the Mesopotamia area. I mean, you could look that up. I think it was approximately 3000 BC or something like that, 3 to 4,000, somewhere around that time. So I'm feeling like you were working in conjunction with these angels or these masters. You were, I don't know if you're artistic or not, but I'm being shown you helped create some of these buildings, like an architect. You know, like how to, you were actually drawing them. It's like you were an architect back then, making these different buildings, the channels. You're kind of helping these gods, these extraterrestrials that came down that showed all this knowledge. So you were actually an architect. Being shown. So you're working in conjunction. You're pretty intuitive there, but it feels like it would be like tapping into your creative side. So there's some architecture they're drawing, and you were working with them, help create that civilization and get that going. Um, it feels like you're devoted to your career there and what you're doing. I'm not sensing a lot of love or family. So I just feel like a devotion to making the civilization go and work and creation. It was, I mean, what's been dug up there now, it's pretty wild. You know, the technology back then, what was created, and, so yeah, it feels like it led to your creation side.
Right.
Where else do we need to go? Any other lives beyond the universe? I don't know how many off of Earth. How many lives? I'm being told there's many, but in this session they're saying they're not going to talk about it. So there may be um, tragic. There's something to do with wars, battles, nuclear, all that kind of thing. But yeah, you've had many lives in other galaxies, um, but I'm being told they're brutal. Um, yeah, uh, I want to get out of there because I'm seeing blood. I'm seeing,
Yeah.
yeah, it's brutal. There's wars, there's nuclear, there's all kinds of bad stuff. So yeah, they're just kind of showing me like planet here, planet there. You've seen planetary destruction. You've been a kind of like a military type. extraterrestrial, and it's like you die, you come back in another body, like that quick, as an extraterrestrial soul. It's like bouncing,
Mm.
and it's kind of painful. There's no family. It's all about interplanetary war, basically, is what I'm sensing. So it's kind of making me sick. So it's like blood and guts kind of feeling. It's like,
Yeah.
is there anything better than that? I don't know why they want to. But I just don't want to really go there too much. Um, do you like to swim, or do you love the water?
I'm not really a swimmer, but I do swim and I do like the water.
Yeah. Well, they are showing me you were in a water planet at 1.2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's because they're showing me the gills.
Mm-hmm.
So extraterrestrial would have
Yeah.
gills, to go in and out, kind of like a mermaid kind of thing, but not
Mm-hmm.
mermaid.
Right.
But yeah, this planet is like 80% water. So they're showing me like um, facilities, underground facilities that people or extraterrestrials would live in. Um, yeah, there's the webbing. There's extra fingers to make and webbing between, but there's like 6 fingers, maybe even 7. So for extra push, same with the toes, the webbing.
Mm-hmm.
The feet are wider, so it's like paddles.
Like
Like
Pat, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're like natural fins, long toes. Um, yeah, there are actual fins on your back. So I'm showing like 3 kind of fins. The spine kind of sticks out a little bit. Um, you have they're showing me a bluish type skin. So maybe um, in the blue water, maybe it kind of camouflages. I don't know, but it feels like an aquamarine skin here. There's there is a nose. There it feels look really small, but there's like oh, it's hard to explain. I'm seeing like not hair, but it's like ripples or ridges of like soft skin, maybe like cartilage like, but there's like a bunch of ripples of cartilage like skin over the head, and then maybe some points, like almost looks like spine sticking out, but there's like points here, but there's like ripples of like some kind of cartilage, but it kind of flexes a little. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that has something to do with the water for guiding or whatever, but yeah, that being shown. Um, there's no ears. There's no eyelids, so like there's a natural, I guess, like natural contacts. So you can go, you don't, there's no blinking or anything, so it's like you can go in the water and out, no problem. But
Mm-hmm.
most of your life is in the water. Um, you would eat fish and plankton and stuff. So it's all a vegetarian fish diet. Um, you can have families. Yep. Actually, families are very accepted and loved. Like the more the merrier. So it just feels like a happy life. Um, there's not much to the place. It's just existence. There's no technology. It's just like you're all very intuitive. There's no real voices, so everything's done by telepathy. There might be a little yip 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 yip. You know what I mean? Showed. So there's everything's just telepathy. But yeah, it's just existence. It's like the technology we gotten from other planets. They didn't. It's like only not many different races. I'm being shown. It's just mainly one race that lived, but there was connections to other places that would come, like cargo ships or something that would help build with something. But it's just a simple, enjoyable life. It's like you were a fish. You just swim around and do your thing and have babies, but it's a very simple life. It's a calmer kind of life. Like I said, I'm not seeing any technology, but they had to build the structure somehow, so it feels like it was imported in from other worlds. So yeah, cool. Yeah, there's not much land. There's like 80% is all water. Um, there is a light source. There's no real need for land. Yeah, it's just like the life of a fish. This really feels like it's pretty cool. I don't know. But yeah, family and everything. But the only the only outsource is when other ships would come. There is some kind of communication with another planet or whatever, but there's no interbreeding or anything like that. It feels like a loving planet. There's beautiful looking fish, all kinds of rainbow colors. What little land masses there are, it's mostly flowers. There's It's calm. There's no volcanoes or there's no earthquakes. There's no nothing. It's just very calm and peaceful. It's like listening to you know a meditation video of water trickling and birds chirping or whatever. It's very calm and peaceful. So I don't know. That probably brings in your calm side of life, maybe, but it's very peaceful. But I just wonder if you swam a lot or something because it seems like you were there as a swimmer.
What? How many
Where,
lives?
where
How
are we?
many lives were there
Where?
where you just described
Two?
the water world?
Yeah, only two. Yeah, it just like feels like you did one. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll do another one.
I relate to it, but not in the obvious sense of the water in other ways, and I can tell you later. But it's like,
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
All right, but yeah. It just seems like two. It's an experience that you wanted to check out. I mean, there's planets everywhere that haven't been discovered.
Hmm.
Okay. Anything else? Hmm. Do you relate to South Africa at all?
Yes.
Because you must be a justice warrior or something. Because I'm getting the reference of like apartheid, oppression, those kind of feelings. Um, so let's say now it feels like with George Floyd and everything, you'd be leading the marches of Black Lives Matter. So I'm getting this feeling of like South Africa, of that type of scenario where just oppression against people, and it just feels horrible. For some
Yeah.
reason, I'm just sensing that it's like you were a leader against the resistance of bad people. Like I said, I'm getting the reference of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and all that. Um, when was this? This doesn't feel too long ago. Like maybe either late 1800s or even early 1900s. It might even be your last life or one before. It doesn't feel that long ago.
Okay. Am I a man?
No, you're a
Woman?
female. Yeah, you're a female here. Power, something about power of the voice. I see you like speaking. Um, I think you had a lot of death threats. Um, like I said, I'm not sure of the times and how this all went down there, but it feels very similar to like Martin Luther King and the oppression kind of feeling, but
Yeah.
down there. But I think you were a female power. It feels actually your soul had more power as a woman than a male. Even though I was sensing more male energy, but I feel like you had more power and a bigger voice as a female. Like within Egypt, you were a priestess, and other places. Did I say male? I can't remember if I said male or female in England. Was it a female? Do you remember?
Is England when I had the young child that died? I
Well,
was a woman.
the church aspect after Jesus. I can't remember if I said male or female.
Female.
Yeah, so it seems to be a theme of you had more power as a female, as far as your voice and your strength. The male energy just seems to be, you do your thing. You had more intuition and more psychic abilities when you were a female than when you were a male. So that's cool that some reference to South Africa makes sense. That it feels like the oppression kind of times, that was the most important part about standing up for the people.
Yes.
It feels like, does that kind of make sense, or okay, good. Let's see, 46 minutes. Where else can we go? It's starting to get draining. I can start feeling it through here when I.
Yeah. Anytime you're done,
No,
just
that's fine. I think I can. I think we can go one more. I think there's one more that we need to hit. So that last one, I was feeling must be the one before. I'm getting reference to Stalin. So
to
was
what?
Stalin Joseph Stalin in Russia, or was that Germany? I can't remember where. Was Stalin?
Wasn't me.
What's that? Well,
He said
he,
it wasn't me.
he was. I think he was kind of like a Hitler or a Putin, right? He was an oppressive leader, from what I remember. But
Soviet political leader led the Soviet Union.
Soviet, yeah, because I was getting a Russian. A Russian. Do you know the time frame? So I can get. When did it
Uh,
say?
he lived. Um, he was a leader 1922 until 53.
Okay, this is in
Oh,
the 40s. I'm getting in the 1940s,
okay.
and that time frame. I think you were in his party or in his part of his group. So, like, let's say current times, we got the former president, and then you have all his little minions. It feels like you were one of his little minions. So, like, you may have remembered all the tortures and the horrors and the more oppression. And so I don't remember what Stalin did, but I'm getting you were part of that, and you've seen that, and you were a man. Actually, you were a weak man. You took orders. Um, you were told to do some horrible things,
Mm.
like like call for the people. You got an order here. You were basically calling for people to be killed. That oppressed. It's like I think that had something to do with you don't want to go there again because you had a life where you were an evil person and you didn't want to go there again. So I think you did some bad things. So it feels like he had a short turnaround then. But I think there's something about later on in life you did not like what you did. So it's kind of like you made amends, for the bad deeds you did when you were young. At the end, you made amends for what you. So, or maybe in the 40s is when you made amends or something. Because it's like early times, whatever, but because it'd be kind of weird to turn around that quickly in life, but they're just telling me like that you made amends for what you did. Um, uh, you just like okay, they give me the reference of kind of like Michael Cohen. He was a bad guy, and then he's making amends for what he did.
He's trying
So
to.
yeah, right. It's just a reference. I was just trying to find a
Yeah.
reference. Well, I know about this, so that they gave me the reference. So it's like he made amends, uh, made apologies. You escaped any torture, murders, or whatever for yourself, but you gave back to the people and apologized and did the right thing in the end. So it kind of feels like it gave you a reprieve of the bad things you did before. So I'm saying, so I'm saying you got a break in your contract per se. I'm not feeling the horror so badly because you did turn your life around. So it kind of feels like at any point in one person's life, you can make amends for what you did. So let's say some person commits murder, goes to prison, and they, become a totally different person and forgive everything, and then get out back on the outside and do good the rest of his life. It's like you wipe out some karma by being good. Okay, that's the sense I'm getting with all this. It's like it's never too late to make amends for what you've done. You can ask for forgiveness. So I think this is the moral of the story. What I'm seeing here is that any soul is not bound to be, per se, hell in the afterlife for what all the bad deeds they did. If you can forgive and give back to people in a good way, you know, not for ego, not for fear, because you really believe you did something wrong.
Right.
Right? So I feel like this is the moral story of the soul: is that we can always change, we can always make good. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Do you have any questions? Any soul in this life or any other things you want to ask before we get out of this energy? Because I think it's still here. I don't
I
sense
have
it's
one.
done.
I'll just stick to one question. The life where my young child died of a blood disease. How did I die in that life?
How did
If you,
you die?
yes, if you can see.
I think you committed suicide.
Okay.
Was that
I'm
it?
seeing a knife. I'm seeing a knife.
Okay.
I think you were tormented at the end because I'm seeing a knife.
I
Like
wondered if I had died of the same thing as the child. Okay.
no, I'm not seeing disease.
Okay.
Something. I, Originally, I remember I seen a long life, but tormented.
Yeah.
I think in the end you may have been tormented because I see a long life, but it's like maybe your kids are gone or you had nothing left, and you're like,
Yes. I
I want it.
wouldn't want to live after, especially, no,
Yeah, it feels like you wanted out.
my children, no.
So I don't. I'm not positive.
Oh, oh,
Oh, there's something.
oh, oh. Can you get her, honey?
It's okay.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, go with her. Go. Go.
Okay. We're good.
She wants to see you.
it wasn't.
And that was it. I have comments to you, but I'll talk to you about after we're done.
Okay. Yeah, but it was some type of suicide. I'm not. I'm not seeing disease. but it was done by self-harm. So
Okay.
I'm not positive if the knife is, so if you don't
And I'm
have a
not
scar,
surprised.
so if you don't
Okay.
have a scar or anything, it may not have been a knife, but it's self-harm. Because
Okay.
I think it may have just been a reference, like you did it yourself in, but it may not be important how, but it was self-harm. That's what I mean, showing that.
Okay.
Any other questions, souls?
Other than what is your karma?
Nope.
No.
For on camera, you're good.
Yeah, for on camera. There's some stuff I just want to like share, like say this meant this and this meant that, and but we'll,
Right. But you feel a lot of things felt relevant.
Oh, confirmation. Egypt
There's
was huge.
confirmation
And
there.
the Matador, I totally get that. And God, and now I can't think, but no, just about everything really. But like the Egypt, I mean, I was just talking with my son about Eye of Horus like 2 nights ago in detail. And then just today I was studying and I got a book on Egypt like Wednesday,
Cool.
and I had to buy it. And then and I've been very with Egypt like just fairly recently, so that was kind of interesting, and that might be why that one came through. And then the other thing that I'll say is just today I was doing some readings for myself with an oracle deck, and there's fairies. There's just 4 fairies for the different elements, and the water fairy. And I've never done this. I sat there and I really studied her and looked at her, and she has the gills, and she has it. And I'll send you a screenshot, or I'll send you a picture of it. But anyways,
funny.
no, very cool. I loved it. Thank you.
Oh, I wonder if something's still available. You talked about the animals. We never really got into the animals. Why are you so connected to the animals? Yeah, I think you've been a soul in an animal before. I'm seeing dogs. I'm seeing birds. Um, I think you were a lizard. I think you were a lizard once too.
No, did you say dragon?
No, I said that tracks.
Oh, that tracks. Yes, yes, and I've I'll talk too much. Yes, the lizard makes sense.
Okay. It could be a dragon or some type of thing, or a Komodo dragon, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Thing you've been a bird. Yeah, dog, I think you've been a dog a couple times for some reason.
The only thing I was going to say, since we're still talking, but I'll be brief,
I'm not seeing any cats though. I'm not
okay,
seeing.
and that makes sense because I'm not a big cat person. I mean, I love all animals. I do, and I love cats, but I'm like a big dog person, and I love birds, and I love all animals. I'm way more of a, people are dog people or cat people. I'm a dog person.
Cool.
And I was wondering, thinking maybe Native American life would come through, but it didn't. But that's perfectly fine. I don't need confirmation. I know I've done that multiple times.
South
America.
Dakota. I'm getting South Dakota. Heavy South Dakota. Sioux.
Yeah.
Indian,
oh yes, Sioux Indian. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you. Yep. I got
you've been there. I'm sensing more chief's wife.
Okay.
Female energy. Powerful because you're the chief's wife kind of feeling. But yeah,
that's a good position.
Yeah. I mean, you've been both.
It's no responsibility.
You've been both. You were a hunter-gatherer once.
Yeah.
So I'm getting like 3 lives. So like a male, you were a hunter-gatherer, but mostly like a chief's wife or someone important.
Yeah.
Female. So like if you were a male, you were a hunter-gatherer. You were, nothing important, but you were part of the tribe. But yeah. But yeah, mostly I was sensing South Dakota, like Sioux, whatever.
I have had hunter-gatherer visions, like memory almost type stuff.
Oh my God.
I when I hear like a drum beat, it makes me like emotional, and I can't even. It's like, and I'm not like that. but like the drum beat and the beauty of it and all of it. And it's just, I have to move. And but it's also, it makes you want to cry when I hear
Yeah,
it.
that's why I ask if you have any questions, whatever, because I'm in the energy.
That just, we didn't, I didn't want to, because then I'll just start talking and I didn't want to.
Yeah, like my process, I just sense the earth, the planet, and it just shows me where to go. So when I start fading down here and like, oh, I'm going to South Africa,
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, I can kind of see Cairo or Egypt lighting up, or wherever they're showing me, and then like when I see it, went from here and then they're showing me England. Okay, I got to go over to Northern England, and then I'm like, so I'm starting to see England, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing Jesus.
Yes,
like,
and that was very cool.
So I'm like, why am I seeing Jesus as in Jerusalem?
Right.
Here, but it's after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So there may have been a pilgrimage or a transfer from after the passing or the whole event that there's reference, to England from there after the fact. Like his teachings or something moved there with the Knight of Templars or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's some kind of reference like going up there from after the fact of the change of the times, from BC to 80.
Right.
Yeah, there's some kind of references. So I don't know, Google whatever for what may have happened between 1 and 208 AD.
Right.
Like the birth of religion possibly in England after the fact, something like that.
Okay.
Really, really interesting. But I found other times with dates or events, you can just kind of Google and you'll find something.
Yeah, and there's so much information online.
Or your guides will show you, where it is through. Okay, show me a sign, and
right.
it's like you'll be scrolling through, like, oh, maybe that's it,
Mm-hmm.
The
Egypt thing. I was seeing lapis lazuli.
What's
when
that?
you were talking, you talked about the crown, and I immediately, that's something I got while you were talking. Lapis lazuli. Oh, I don't have it on. Lapis lazuli it's a blue, very brilliant blue stone, crystal stone. I'll send you a picture of my ring that I have. I have a very large.
The stone might have been in the crown.
Yep, it's kind of like this color blue, but brighter, and it was used in a lot of Egyptian like artwork and jewelry. And they made, you see the photos of the women with the blue eyeshadow from that time. That was ground lapis lazuli that they probably shouldn't have been putting on their skin, but they were. But anyways, I just saw that when you were saying that. So I probably had that in that life, like in my, it was common for them, but like I saw it, like I was shown it when you said that. So I'm wondering if maybe I had it in my little headdress or whatever.
That may be, yeah. Like I said, I was shown just some kind of crown, but it kind of comes up a little bit. But there was a stone or some kind of eye in the middle, which made importance.
Was it blue?
I wasn't really being shown. It was just kind of like an eye or something. I mean, there had to be something there. It wasn't an eye, but it was important. Whatever the significant was. So it's probably what you were seeing or getting to.
Yeah, so cool.
So, your grandfather's here. Your grandfather figure is here.
Can he give you his name by chance or an initial or anything? So I know which one.
Oh, we know.
Do you have a grandfather named James? Jim or James or Jerry or some kind of J name?
Was it definitely a grandfather? Jay?
You have a J?
John, and it was Jay.
Well, it's a J name. It feels like.
John.
But it feels more like James to me.
Okay. I had a grandpa Jay, and his real name's John.
I don't think you knew them.
Oh, okay.
It might be, I think it's backfather.
I'll see if maybe on my dad's side, not on my mom's side, they all had Spanish and like.
Okay, maybe it's your dad's
French
side.
names. And I don't know that side nearly as well. I mean, if we were going back several, like if this is someone way before my life, sure, there might be.
It feels like the one before, like a great grandfather you never knew, yet. But for some reason I thought it was that side, but maybe I was wrong.
Okay.
But, but yeah, he's with your sister too. I mean, he kind of like bounces around. But like when you get your extra intuition,
He's around me.
it feels like it feels like he's boosting.
He's boosting.
Is the name definitely, it's a J name. It's just a J name.
Grandpa's
I mean, I could be getting it wrong.
Oh, could it be Jose?
James,
J. Jose. Joe Antonio. Joe Tony.
Well, when did he pass?
He passed in 2004.
No. Okay, let me okay. Let's see if we can get this.
Okay.
You gotta concentrate. When did it definitely looks like James or Jerry or something like that.
My grandpa Jay died in 96-ish. Okay.
This is before.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll see if I can.
Okay, when did this? Okay, they're telling me he passed in the 70s. And I think it's like a 1911.
Flory, what was his first name?
Clifford. They're all Clifford. Maddie, sit.
If you look back in whoever that is, maybe I got the name wrong, but it could be similar, or maybe he was called James and it was actually something else or a middle name
11.
kind of feeling.
Okay.
I'm feeling like he passed in the 70s, and it feels like around early 1900s. Like
Okay.
the date I got first was 1911.
Okay.
The reason that's important, but no, this grandfather, ancestor, or it could be even an uncle, maybe too. I don't know, but it feels more grandfather-ish. It's someone connected with the family. It's one of your ancestors.
And
so
he died. Sorry.
So you said, what part of your family? You said part of your family is Spanish, or what?
On my mother's side, they're
Mother's side is Spanish.
French and Spanish. Spanish, but now
Spanish.
and yeah, Spanish.
And your dad's side is
French Canadian, German, English.
okay. I think it's more on your dad's side then. Look in your dad's family tree then.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to look back in those times.
I will.
See if I'm on track here, but it feels. Is there any other name? For some reason, is anything with Richard? You ever look back like James Richard or Richard James or
Uncle Dick.
Dick? I don't know.
He
didn't die recently though.
He died in the 80s. No, he didn't. He died in
So 1911, is that the birth year?
So this would be no, it's passing.
They passed in 1911?
Yes.
Okay.
So
well, my
this would
sister's got all the genealogy.
This would be a great grandfather or great uncle or.
Okay, so
one time I know I had a great aunt that was my guide. So anyone in the family.
Okay.
It would have been my great grandfather's sister. Was my guide for a while. So there's connections somehow. But it's like I said, it would be. They're telling me about 1911 he passed, and he was in his 70s. It's like 71, 72. 70.
So he died around. Okay, so really quickly, actually that's on my dad's side of the family though.
Like I said, Mike. So yeah, I'm trying to think who would have died then. So that would probably been a great grandfather then, most likely.
Yeah, and I almost asked you about. Okay, so but this is on my dad's. Wait, yeah, on my dad's side of the family, my great grandfather, is that right? Oh, I can't think right now. I'm
I
thinking
don't
of
know any other names.
the name isn't sound quite right though. I've been intrigued by, okay, so my dad's mother, her mother's mother, so that's my great grandmother, and her husband, for some reason, have been of interest to me lately. I don't know, but his
Well,
name is Clifford, and her name was her name was Hattie Mae.
hmm.
And there was some story about some possible stuff they were interested in that I was going to ask you about, and I'm just wondering if it ever really happened or if it was rumor or whatever.
Yeah.
All
Well,
spell work.
we could maybe do that. We can do that off camera.
Yeah,
Anyway, do the research and
I
see if
will.
we can figure out if that's who we're on
Yep,
track with.
yep. I'll
That's
let
what
you know.
I sense anyway. Because I don't see a Spanish side like you were saying.
Right.
This
Yep.
looks more French Canadian,
Yep. And it makes sense. It would be more because my sister seems more connected with all of them, and I'm more connected with the other side. So that does make sense. But I'll look into it and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank
Well, to
you.
all the YouTubers here, thank you for joining
This
us.
was awesome.
This is our famous Aries girl that's in everyone's pets, Allison. So thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Scott.
Bye.
Bye.